United States of America 2, Jamaica 0, a good solid win, a much drastically improved second half, guys. 2 goals from 18-year-old Ricardo Pepe. He now has 3 goals in his last 2 games. There's a lot to like. There's still a lot of questions, obviously, but it's a great win, especially that second half. Filippo, real quick, sum up for me. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very good. It was so last camp we came out with a lot of frustrations, right? There was almost not many positives to take out of it besides Ricardo Pepe being one of them, and he's again a positive. But overall today, the performance wasn't frustrating. It was a little bit of a frustrating first half, but it wasn't a bad first half. But we saw a lot of good things in the second half. Yes, we do have to take into account that this is probably the weakest opponent we'll ever face
For
in
sure.
World Cup
For
qualifying.
sure.
But lots of positives. Lots of positives.
Yeah. A ton of positives, for sure. And we'll get into them. Guys, real quick about the Super Chats. We finally found a way to keep track of all the Super Chats. So don't worry. Even if we don't get your Super Chat right away, we have a way to track them and go back and answer it. So we sorted that out, and I'm very confident that we're going to be okay. We're going to start off by answering a few questions, guys, and just hanging until a lot more people get in the chat, and then we'll get into pros and cons and all of that. First one. Triple G is Whitmore's daddy. Thanks for all you do, Tack and Pete.
Everyone's Whitmore's daddy. If I coach a team here, I'll be Whitmore's daddy.
Yeah. Poor Whitmore, man. I mean, it's not just Whitmore, let's be honest. Jamaica has problems that go beyond Theodore Whitmore, but for sure, he's definitely part of it. So, yeah, I mean, good. It was a good 2-win. I mean, 2-0 win. I was really happy. I'll just say it. What I really liked about that second half, Tack, was the freedom that we played with. It didn't feel like we were overthinking things. It didn't feel like, we were trying too hard to play a certain way. It felt very instinctive. It felt like the players sort of settling into natural roles and just sort of taking on roles that they feel comfortable playing instead of trying to play a certain way. Did you see that too?
I did. I saw it mostly on our duo 8. Right,
Yes.
I saw Weston and Musa with a lot more freedom in the second half, drifting wide when needed, going central and we saw that a lot more in Yunus. But I thought Weston was pretty good too in the second half. We saw a little bit more from Yunus Musa. The one thing that I like the most, and this is a clear example, and I'm not going to mention names. People know who I'm talking about, and I talked about it before. It's completely different when you have a midfield, a triangle there with a 6 and dual 8. Not a full triangle, right? But just a triangle, sorry, with a 6 and dual 8. Dual 8s that know how to progress the ball forward, do some good through balls, incisive pass. It's a different midfield for when you have players that just pass it back.
For sure. But not just that. Like, those two guys are very good dribbling with the ball at their feet. Both Weston and Musa, their instinct is not to, let's make a short pass and then move again. They want to drive at defenders with the ball at their feet. And in the second half, it felt like they were doing that a lot more than they were in the first half. Now, I don't know if that's because, Gregg Burhalter unleashed them and said, just go play. Or I don't know if the initial goal gave them the freedom to do it and the confidence to do it, but it felt so much more instinctive, especially with Musa, right? Musa just took the ball and started driving at players, which is what he does naturally. That's who he is. And that was really good to see. So Austin Westbrook had a couple of W's in his chat. Michael Garrison, DLT was amazing when he came on. Yes, we've been asking for De La Torre. DLT over Leggett comes on for 12 minutes and creates 2 good chances with incisive through balls. One which Zardes completely missed, and then the other one for Waya, which was a beautifully placed ball. Very underrated from Luca De La Torre, and I think he deserves more time in some of the subsequent minutes. Pepe's an inch away from securing the striker spot. Is he? I feel like he's there now. I mean, 3 goals in 2 games. He's got to start the next one, right? I say you keep Pepe there until, he starts not performing. That's how I see it.
Well, Pete, the way we can talk about it as well is the last 6 goals we scored in World Cup qualifying, he was involved. Scoring, assisting, involved.
Yeah.
All 6.
The last 6 goals. Yeah, for sure. All right. So, after Michael Garrison, Lobsman. All right. Benjamin De Rosia. Yunus Musa is the truth. Yes, he had an excellent second half. Excellent second half. Underrated cross by Dest, too. We got to give Dest credit for that cross for the first goal. Jose Lopez. Wish Dest was in a better development situation. Barca is toxic right now. He's so young. Feel he needs way more time to develop. I mean, Yeah, Barca's maybe not the best developmental place right now, but he can still develop as a player there. It's not like he can't, and he still is developing to do. He's still young, but we saw his quality today in the second half, right? Jeremy Parente, how many more English reinforcements are Jamaica going to call in to think they can be competitive? Well, Jeremy, they didn't actually have their English reinforcements today, and that, I think, hurt them. You could see the lack of quality, especially in the attack, right? Areola showed once again he struggles to finish, crosses poorly, and struggles to create chances when he is playing for the national team. I agree. Look, he worked hard today, Areola, right? And he did have that through ball in the first half that you can give him credit for. Yes, it was a wide open gap. Most professional players should be able to give that through ball. But he worked really hard. The problem with Areola has always been, of course, his production in the final third, right? We saw it again today. Eager, works hard, trying to win the ball, good, trying to combine with teammates. Look at the difference when Timmy Waya came on. Just look at the difference between Areola and Waya. I mean, every time Waya got the ball, he was dangerous. And I mean, every time. I don't know how he didn't get an assist on that Zardes miss. But
if it was Pepe, he would have had 1 or 2 assists.
Oh, yeah, easily. Arnold Maldonado, great game. Thank you, Pete and Filippo. Keep up the good work. Pete, are you going to go on the Straight Red Card show? Yes, I am, Arnold. After the international break, I'm going to go on their show. And thank you, Arnold.
Have fun.
I might be heading to the LA Galaxy game with you next week as well, so we'll talk later about that. Trey Allen, can you all talk about how vertical Zardes and Areola were in this game? Wow.
Very vertical.
Yeah, it's like verticality, guys. No, just don't get me started. We'll talk about it. So, once we get a couple, more people in the chat, we'll start going over what we liked from the game, the positive takeaways, and some of the questions that we still have. Skylar Lukowicz, how does Gregg start a defender who wasn't even on the original roster? Does he draw up his roster selection on an Etch-a-Sketch? I think you're talking about Walker Zimmerman. It's confusing to us as well. The only way that I can explain Walker Zimmerman starting is because he wants to start Richards in the last 2 games. Because if he doesn't, I don't understand it. He wasn't there. Yes, Zimmerman played well today. Guys, the defense wasn't really tested. Okay, let's be honest. They weren't really tested, but they did what was asked of them when they were, neither of them played poorly, either Robinson or Walker. But I think we need to incorporate Richards, especially maybe in that second half, right? We go 2-0 up. Can you bring on Richards for 15 minutes? Everyone's like, he has no experience in CONCACAF. He's not going to get it until you give it to him, people. But yeah, we'll talk about Gregg's roster building. I wonder what the best attack would look like with Pepe, Hoppy, Waya, Reyna, and Pulisic. Who would come off the bench if everyone is healthy? Yeah. Look, it's not just personnel. Personnel is a huge part of it. But it's also giving that personnel the freedom to be themselves on the soccer field, right? To play to their strengths, to play instinctively, to play with looseness and confidence. We saw that in the second half. It's not that hard to let them do that more of the time. What do you think, Tak?
So I think what he asked is who would come. You want me to respond to this question?
Yeah, no, I understand the question. Yeah. I'll answer the second question, but first tell me what you think about this personnel question.
So
Pepe, Hoppy,
the thing is, in regards to who would start and everything, there's a lot that goes to it. There's also the opponent, right? Who are we facing? Which one would fit better? Now, I don't see Christian Pulisic being on the bench, Pete. Healthy.
No, he's not going to be on the bench for sure. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying Pepe, Hoppy, Waya, Reyna, and Pulisic. But the problem is, where do you put them? Like, of these 5, who comes off the bench?
2 of them right now would probably be Hoppy and Waya right now.
Yeah, Hoppy and Waya. Well, I want Reyna in the midfield. So if you can put Reyna in midfield.
So what I was thinking was a formation with a 10 and 2 strikers. You're saying wingers and a center forward?
Oh, okay. Well, if we're talking about our formation, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you. Where you have 3-5-2.
If it's with wingers, then yeah, Reyna just goes to the midfield, Pulisic on one wing, then probably Pepe, and then probably Waya right now, because we haven't seen because Gregg doesn't put Hoppy. So he could have put Hoppy today instead of Zardes, so we could see Hoppy as the center forward, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. If it's a 4-3-3, if it's a 3-5-2, we could have all 5 of those guys on the field, and then Tyler and Weston, or Tyler and Eunice behind, Gio. Okay. Dave Valensky, Ajax would be a great place for Ricardo Pepe. They're great for developing young stars. If not, I would like for him to play with another U.S. forward. I agree about Ajax. The great development. It's a strikers league, right? Their defending is not as good, so you get a lot of chances on goal. He's going to get good service. He's not going to be an automatic starter for Ajax, but he will get regular game time, and he'll have to fight for it. And so I think that's
And
a good
Champions
spot.
League. And
Champions League play. Triple G actually changed tactics without just switching players out. Maybe they took the first half with caution. So, Nate, I didn't see any evidence of a tactical change in that second half. It's possible that there was, and maybe on the rewatch, I will see it. The one area that I thought, maybe there was a little bit of a tactical change was where Younes received the ball. Having Younes higher up the field and not having him go sit next to Tyler Adams so much in the build-out. But other than that, I didn't see a lot. What I saw, honestly, was a lot more instinctive play. Did you notice something that I didn't, Tech?
Yeah, what I noticed was the duo eights there. Weston and Eunice seemed to have more freedom. Now, was that just them? Was it Gregg telling them, "Hey guys, I know I told you to come back and help with the buildup, but I want you guys just to play instinctively, have your freedom"? I don't know if it was Gregg or not. I think Gregg might have played a role there, right? Just letting them loose.
It's possible. We don't know what he said at halftime, right? And I'm sure it'll come out in the next couple of days.
Or
All
not.
right, a couple more questions, and then we're going to start. What?
No, nothing. I said, or not. I said or not.
Yeah, or not. Let's see. How do you rate Twellman's tack analysis? I guess this is for you, Tack. Oh, tactical analysis.
Twellman's. I think he means how do you rate Taylor Twellman's tactical analysis? Because it probably didn't fit more in the. I don't know. I didn't really hear Taylor Twellman throughout the game. I have it super low. I don't know what he said.
Can we be honest, though? There were 2 times. Zardes misses 4 chances in that second half. If that's Josh Sargent, Taylor Twellman is going in on him. He didn't say a word about Zardes. Not a word. And then he credited Paul Areola and said, this is why you have Paul Areola on the field when Aronson and Robinson, when Zardes missed a chance. It's like Areola there creating those chances. No, he wasn't. He did not create those chances. Because why are you putting Areola in that? Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of anybody on TV's tactical analysis, to be honest. Wes Smith says, probably the best I've seen Dest play for the USMNT. Stoked about Musa and DLT. Wish Hoppy got on instead of Zardes. I'm with you on all of that, Wes. I get resting Pepe because, we wanted to rest him. Give Hoppy 30 minutes. Come on. Why Zardes? And Zardes missed 4 chances in 30 minutes. Okay? Has a U.S. striker ever missed 4 chances in 30 minutes?
Well, Zardes might have missed it in the past. I just don't remember.
I don't remember. That was a terrible half an hour from Zardes. Aronson's corners were subpar. Yeah, not the best. I don't know if that's really his game or like a strength of his. Tack, take this one. Dream landing spot for Pepe.
RB Salzburg.
I can see it. I can
Dream
totally
landing.
see it.
So he starts. He'll go there to start. They developed superb players like Holland, Pat Sendaka, that's in Leicester, many others. Great job with Brendan Aronson so far. My dream, guys, this is the thing. People are dreaming and talking about Pepe at Bayern, Pepe at this. He doesn't have to go there now. He can go there when he's 21, 22. He can go to RB Salzburg, develop more, start, play, keep up good form. I just don't think there's any need for a player at his level to stay in MLS. That's all.
I agree. It's like, look at Holland, right? Very measured with where he went. He starts at Molde, then goes to Salzburg, from Salzburg to Dortmund, and then from Dortmund. So it's like gradually upping your level instead of going from MLS to, Bayern Munich. Jack Talley, the fan base doesn't talk about Aronson enough. He's been our best player this whole year. He has to start, even with Puli and Reyna healthy. Reyna to midfield. Look, I wouldn't have a problem with Aronson starting, Jack, and I agree with what you're saying. I kind of prefer Tim Waya on the right wing, though. Although I would be fine with either of them. I'd be fine with Waya. I'd be fine with Aronson. It's a good thing to have depth, right? And he got another good assist today, right? Was it just 1 assist? Yeah, 1 assist on Aronson.
Yeah, 1. It was the second goal. For
the second goal. All right. One more super chat, guys. We'll get to the rest of them after we do pros and cons. Ryan let me see make sure I got all the ones after Jack here. Yeah. Okay. Benjamin Da Rosia. Yeah, Aronson needs to be starting moving forward. Agreed. Okay, guys. So last one here from Ryan. Areola's nickname should be the Gnat. He can't do any damage with the ball, but will bother the hell out of you. Right. It's what exactly we've always said about Areola. Hard worker, good hustler, lacks real quality in that final third.
Pete, in that sense, it's something I was saying at the stream too. Since Pariola's worked so hard today, so hard, I think we should rest him for the rest of his USMNT career. He worked so hard today.
It's frustrating that Tim Waya was so good when he came on, right? And it's like, we could have had that from the beginning. And Tim Waya worked just as hard too. All right. So what we're going to do now, guys, if your super chat is there, we'll get to it after this. But hold off on the super chats for now because we're going to talk about pros and cons. So start off with the positives from the game. Tack, I've been talking a lot. What was your one of your positives, takeaways from the game?
Okay, there's plenty. I'm not going to go and say Ricardo Pepe right away because that's an obvious one. I'm going to say Brendan Arison's attitude. And his performance wasn't perfect. It was good, but it wasn't perfect. But the attitude, right? You saw Arison calling in responsibility, wanting the ball, not hiding from the game, trying plays, good passes, got the assist. So I think Brendan Arison's attitude and performance as well, but attitude mostly was something I really like, and quick decisions. He's been very quick with his decisions. Right or wrong, the decisions are quick.
Yeah. That's, the beauty of going to Europe, right? And playing in an environment where you have to be very, very fast to make and execute decisions. I really liked the instinctiveness of that second half. I like to see players trying things on the field. I like to see players going with their gut. It started with Yunus Musa receiving the ball. And for a moment, you could see him sort of pause on the half turn and go, what was I supposed to do in this moment? And it almost felt like he went, you know what, screw it. And then he just started dribbling at that back line. And as Jamaica backpedals, he dishes to Dest. And it's just like his dribbling direct at them forced them to backpedal, which created space for Dest to then get that cross in. And I love that. And you saw that with Weston Mckinney. Just, in that second half, receiving the ball even next to Tyler Adams, right? In that sort of dangerous area of the field, surrounded by players, having the confidence and freedom to take just to dribble out of pressure and then open the field up and try things. And we saw that create so many chances in the second half. Players playing to their strengths, playing in flow, playing with confidence. And I don't exactly know why that was, but it was so good to see.
I know we're still in the positives, but just to add to that, we want to see that consistently, right? Because now we got to raise the question: was it because we got better, or was it because our opponent got worse? Because we did face a weaker opponent. That's what we got to see. But
for sure.
But yes,
we'll get to that. We'll get to all of that.
Regardless, it was a good win with many good performances. So another positive. I think Dest, right? Because, again, Dest sometimes was a little bit too much, like messing around with the ball, almost as if he was making fun of the player. But Dest had good moments today, right? And he wasn't a problem on defense. And we really needed to see that Dest could do something in CONCACAF. And we finally saw something, right?
Yeah.
So that was a positive.
And this is the thing, though. When you ask players to play instinctively, sometimes they're going to do things that break the rules, right? For example, in the second half, there were moments where Dest maybe over-dribbled and lost the ball. But guess what? If you give him the freedom, more often than not, that's going to come off. And you have to live with the times where maybe they give the ball away, okay? Because if you try to put them like it feels like a straitjacket, you're going to get very mechanical play from all of them. This is what you do. Don't do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. When you give them freedom to play, that's when their personality comes out. They express themselves. And so often, Dest was a huge threat dribbling with the ball. And there was that time where they lost the ball, and all of a sudden, Dest charges past his man defensively, right, and wins it. I don't know if you saw that, but it was really good to see him be that on point with his defending. Now, yes, like you said, it's Jamaica, but the effort, we haven't always seen the effort to do that defensively from Dest, and so I was happy to see that. I'm going to just talk about, Tim Waya, man. I mean, to come on for the last 30 minutes and to be extremely dangerous literally every time he got the ball, he's got to start against Panama. Is there a reason he shouldn't? Like, we got to sit Areola in Panama and put Waya there, I think. Jack, you there? Oh, I thought you
I
froze.
froze. Everything froze. Yeah, everything froze for a second.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what did you
Right.
think of Waya's performance?
Very good. Every time he had the ball, he looked dangerous. He should have had. He's used to playing with Jonathan David. So with Jonathan David, he probably would have had 1 or 2 assists in this game. Pepe would probably given him an assist or two as
Yeah.
well. So I thought he was very good. And the funny part of it is Wayo was playing on the left side, and I always saw him more as a right winger. And when he played for Lille, usually he's in the right mid or he's playing as a second striker roaming around Jonathan David.
Yeah.
But I liked him on the left as well. I thought he was as good. I had
But
no
even when
problems
he
with him.
drifted inside from the wing, he was so dangerous, in combination, beating his man on the dribble. Yeah, it was really good to see from Timothy Weah. All right, you.
A positive. Let's think of another positive. So Ricardo Pepe, we're not saying, right, as a positive?
I mean, say Pepe. Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Pepe, because again, before the game, one of the things me and Pete talked about was we wanted to see Pepe keep it going, right? It was one good performance. So we still had that doubt in our minds, like, can he do it again? And yes, he still has to do it consistently, right? It doesn't mean he's established now. He's over. It's
No,
over.
no.
But now it's already 2 games in a row where every single game in the past every single goal in the past 2 games, I switched the words, Pepe was involved in one way, shape, or form, either in the buildup, either in the assist, either in the goal itself, scoring.
Yeah,
So it gets to a point where it's like, okay, maybe Pepe won't live to the potential we believe,
yeah,
but this kid is definitely ready to start for us. There's
yeah,
no problem with him starting.
yeah. I'm going to go Luca De La Torre. Now, usually when a player comes on for 12 minutes, they're very hard to evaluate. But you could tell the way he received the ball and you know how we always talk about line breaking passes, players in midfield who can play like a 10, who can make line breaking passes, who can dribble, who can literally cut open back lines with incisiveness like a surgeon. That's what we saw from De La Torre. He did it once for Zardes and he did it once for Waya in 12 minutes. I think he deserves a start at some point, maybe next to Musa or next to McKinney, somewhere. If you want to rest one of those guys, maybe even at home, maybe not against Panama, we'll see. But I was really happy with De La Torre, and I've been asking for De La Torre for a while now. So I hope we give him some more chances because I think he was very bright and incisive and creative for the 12 minutes he came on. One of the few guys in the pool, along with Gio, that can play as a pure 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have any more positives, or should we jump into some of the questions that we still have?
I want to say one positive. I hope people don't see this as trolling because I'm being dead serious. I did think it was a positive that we didn't see Leggett or Roldan come in.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I
and
agree.
I'm not trolling.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
not
that if
trolling. I'm literally saying it.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, we'll get into the negatives, but the fact that we brought on Zardes over Hoppy was really disappointing. It's like, give Hoppy 30 minutes. We're winning the game. You're taking off a striker. We know who Zardes is. We know what he can bring. And today he brought nothing. So at least give Hoppy a shot.
And let's talk about one thing too, adding to that. And that goes back to what we talk about. We talk about the CONCACAF experience. So if he doesn't have it, these are, even though Hoppy played a full Gold Cup, right? So he does have CONCACAF experience, right? That's CONCACAF.
Yeah.
But for example, if you had Joe Scally at the bench today, this would have been such a good game to put him in for Dest for a couple minutes, and he would like get that. Players get nervous, right? They're young. He would have his debut for the USMNT. That would be out of the way, right? He would get that debut out of the way. So the next game, it's no longer a debut, and it's a game that was somewhat easy when Shaq Moore came in. It was pretty under control. These opportunities are the ones that we talk about and we complain about Gregg, where it seemed like you're not building for the long term sometimes. And certain times you have to do that. Even if you're not going to be the coach that will maximize that player, you're not going to get that coach at the prime because Gregg might be gone after Qatar. You still need to build up for that. And these players could have been here. Some of the young guys. This is a game where Busio could have been at the bench and came in for World Cup qualifying. He wasn't. But essentially, with what we had, I would have loved to have seen Matthew Hoppy come in as a center forward.
Yeah, Hoppy and Scally would have been really good to see in this game at some point. Moore, what do you accomplish by bringing on Moore? You know what I mean? Nothing.
Richards too. Forgot Richards.
Yeah, Richards is another guy. I hope we see Richards start against Panama, man. People say, oh, he has no CONCACAF experience. Well, you got to let him play to get it. Yeah, and with this, let's talk about some of the questions. I mean, for me, I guess we already started with some of those, right? With those guys who came on, like Zardes felt unnecessary, and keeping Areola on as long as he did also felt really unnecessary. But, not having Scally in the roster we've talked about. My question is, what does Gregg do going forward? And this is what I'm going to want to see against Panama and Costa Rica. Do we take the shackles off the players and give them the freedom to play this way? Or do we insist on a system that we've been insisting on for some time that maybe doesn't play to their strengths and results in very mechanical, slow, ineffective soccer? That's my question. What are we going to see more of the first half against Panama? Or are we going to see that second half freedom? I'm curious.
So that's a negative that you're saying.
That's a negative. Well, I mean, questions. It's like questions that we have. Call them whatever you want, negatives or whatever.
Yeah, it's the thing is all the negatives, right, of this game, they're all questions because there wasn't really truly any negatives by any means. So it's all questions of what Gregg will do from now. Is he going to go down to the next game against Panama on Sunday and then start Leggett, Roldan? There were adding more to a couple positives here too is the fact that he took out Pepe and Aronson. I think it means he plans on starting them. He was resting them.
Yeah,
that's what it seemed like to me. And the fact that he left Areola the whole game, injury-prone Areola, 90 minutes, leads me to believe there's no way Areola is starting on Sunday.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a need for him to start.
So yeah, it could be Gregg evolving. He also gave the mid. So I can't think of many positives. I think Anthony Robinson wasn't too good today, at least not as good as he was against Honduras. Wasn't any bad by any means, but I don't think he was too good on offense. His crosses weren't as dangerous, right? They're all very strong towards Andre Blake. Didn't do much. It wasn't really tested on it. Besides that, I didn't see any negatives, Pete.
Yeah, I thought his final ball could have been a lot better. You know what I mean? I thought that's what I kind of wanted to see.
He seemed to have something on his knee, right?
Who?
Robinson, Anthony Robinson.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He had a strap on it. Something was on it.
Maybe he wasn't quite fully fit.
That could be it. He's dealing with something. So maybe that's what happened. Now, besides that, I can't think of many negatives. I can't.
I mean, I'll take the first half as a negative or a question, right? We didn't really seem to have a lot of ideas for breaking them down. I thought that Yunus Musa and Weston McKinney were too far back receiving the ball off the center backs. And because of that, they struggled to break down, the Jamaican back line on the half turn. And I thought where they were receiving the ball, it wasn't terrible, but I just thought it was a small thing that I thought we did better at in the second half. But again, the very mechanical, there was a lot of switch play, which is Burhalter's mantra. If you switch play, eventually they're going to get tired. Yeah, maybe. It didn't really work in that second half. And we didn't really do a lot of it in the first half. And then we didn't do a lot of it in the second half. So, yeah, are there any other questions that you have? I mean, I question why he started Zimmerman over Richards when Zimmerman wasn't really in the roster. My guess is Zimmerman might be that guy, who doesn't play any more games, just this one, and then Richards gets Panama and Costa Rica. But there's no way of knowing that until the next two games,
Yeah, and again, it's that weird criteria from Gregg because Zimmerman wasn't even originally in the roster.
Right.
So he was behind Richards. He was behind McKenzie. He was behind Brooks, Reem, and then he comes in and he's a starter. It's weird. I don't know, and I guess none of the media is going to really ask Gregg the reason for that, and even ask it in the way we just asked, like, hey, he was behind everyone. Why did he become a starter? You rated him less than the others. What's your explanation? No one's going to ask Gregg in that way, so we're not going to know the answer.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions? Because I have one more.
Personally, no, I'd like to hear yours.
So my question is this. A lot of our good play in the second half also came from the fact that, we got the early goal and that forced Jamaica to come out of their low block and play with us, right? And so they had to push forward. They couldn't sit back as much, and that created more space for us. Now, that's not always going to happen, right? Can we still break down a low block consistently, right? That's the question, because Panama's going to do it. Costa Rica is definitely going to do it. when it's not going our way, can we still find ways consistently to break down the low block? We did today, right? We got that opening goal, which then forces them out, and now you have an easier time playing, right? They leave space in behind. So it's a question. It's a small thing. But overall, I thought good win today. Again, the opponent, guys, we have to be honest, not a great opponent. Probably one of the worst in CONCACAF right now, or at least in the Ocho. So we'll have to see how we do against Panama on Sunday, and that's the big question I have from this game, right?
So do you want me to update you real quick on the scores?
Yeah, what's going on in the other games?
So Honduras and Costa Rica is over. Honduras and Costa Rica tied at Honduras 0-0. Okay. Mexico just scored on Canada 1-0 Mexico at Mexico. And El Salvador and Panama just started 5 minutes in, and it's 0-0.
Okay. All right. So we'll keep an eye on the Panama game. If Canada loses today or even draws today, we go second, right?
Say it again?
Yeah. We go second. If Canada loses or draws today, we go second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So top two is where we should be, right? All right. Let's get to some of these. Now, guys, what I'm going to do is I have to go to YouTube to read these, so I might not be able to put all of the super chats actually on screen, but I will be able to go back and read the ones that we missed. So, Tack, some of them I'll give to you to read. And give me a second here. We'll go back up.
Putting the games here for me real quick.
Yeah, that sucks that Mexico scored, man. Oh,
yeah.
Hang on.
Or maybe not. Maybe we will fight for the first spot when we face them.
Maybe. Hey, that's so weird. I'm looking back in the YouTube stream for the super chats, but they're not there. Were they there for you, Tack, in the control room?
I didn't use the control room. Didn't have that many because it was very spaced out.
Oh, really? Huh. That's strange, because when I did this last time, it was all in the control room, but now I only see Chris Crescenza's super chat, which is weird.
Maybe it's time sensitive. It's a couple minutes.
No, but there's nothing. Usually it's all before. You see it all, but right now I don't see anything. That's strange, because last time it was working. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go back up and read the ones that I can. If I missed yours, I apologize. I thought it would be easy to read them off the YouTube stream. If we have Enrique as our coach, we win this 10-0. Which Enrique are we talking about, Brian?
Enrique, who's he talking about?
No idea which Enrique, Brian. You might have to clarify which Enrique you're talking about. Other than Zardes, our sub looked great. What changes would you make against Panama? So definitely I would have Tim Waya for I would probably have Tim Waya for Areola for sure. I would keep Pepe. I would keep Aronson. I might give McKinney a break and have Musa and De La Torre as the dual eights. But then I might not yet. Maybe I'd give De La Torre a start against Costa Rica and keep McKinney and Musa over there in midfield, because it is going to be a very physical game, and I think that suits both Musa and McKinney's game a bit better. But I would bring on De La Torre earlier if we got a lead, or even if we didn't, especially if we didn't. I'd give him 30, 35 minutes. Chris Crescenza, how much of the great second half was change off low block by Jamaica versus freer formation with creative players? Jedi has KT on his knee. What's KT? Do you know?
Well, it's the tape, I think, that he has.
Must be the tape. What do you think about this? You take this one, Tack.
How much of a great second half was changed off low block by Jamaica versus freer formation? So regardless of the low block or not, we scored, right? We broke the low block. And obviously, once you get the lead, if the team, it doesn't make sense for Jamaica to keep the low block, right? Unless they're just going for not losing by a lot. So how much of the second half change was off the low block? Well, before we broke the low block, we were already being more creative. That's what I noticed in the second. I don't remember exactly when we scored, but we were already being more creative. Then once the low block was technically destroyed, we started to create more. And then Zardes was in by then, and then Zardes couldn't really do anything. So I think it was more in regards to the freedom than the low block, because the change in the low block is a consequence of the players being more free to create and us creating more opportunities.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I realized, Jack? I didn't have the control room open. If I had the control room open this
It
whole
stayed.
time, it would have saved all the
Got it.
super chats. But now it's only giving me the super chats since I opened the control room. I thought it
Got it.
automatically saved them. So that's my bad, guys. I'm sorry. I will have the control room open from the start against Sunday. And if I missed yours, please let me know and put it in the super chat. Davies just missed a goal. That sucks. I'm not watching the Canada game, so hard. Greg Busby, having creative quality in the midfield made a huge difference tonight. Yes, I agree. Musa and creativity is different. Musa and McKinney are both very good driving with the ball at their feet, right? Driving at defenses on the dribble, but you have to give them the freedom to do it, right? You can't force them to try to do this tiki-taka buildup. It's not their game. You know what I mean? Luca De La Torre a bit more, right? If you have De La Torre in that midfield, it's a different kind of creativity, more line-breaking passes, better in possession, a little more technical. Yeah, but I agree ultimately with you, Greg, and we've been calling for this for a long time. Creative players in midfield and the difference that they can make, right? All right. Brian Tenasca. Oh, Luis Enrique. Yeah. Okay. A good coach, Barca
But
fan.
he's
Yeah, I don't think we're
but
going to
he's a
get.
Spain coach.
Yeah, he's a Spain coach, Spanish
Yeah.
coach, and I don't think he's a guy we're going to get, at least not anytime
No.
soon. And also, I don't know if we want I don't know if we should try to play the Spanish way, but that's a different discussion. Loved what I saw from Musa, Jason Snags, and sub time for Waya. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Musa was great. Waya was fantastic, man. What a 30 minutes from Tim Waya. So, James Beckner, so encouraging to see a dude like LDT who really wants to play for the shirt, prove his quality in the short time he had, definitely deserves minutes. I agree, man. And I've been asking for De La Torre turned down the Gold Cup, right? Which was disappointing for a lot of us. And we thought, oh no, he might not get some time now. But he did. He did. He got in, and that's great to see. Great to see that performance. I hope we give him a start at some point. Yes. John Carter says Katie is kinesiology tape. Also, Pepe for the win. That goal by Pepe was actually the first goal was harder than it looked because he couldn't see it. It looped right over the Jamaican guy's head and dropped at the last minute. So the fact that he just so confidently tucked it away actually was more impressive than it looked, in my opinion. Tack, this is for you.
And can we also say that the other goal, it's not just a tap in, right? It has to do with positioning
And
of the
movement.
player and movement. And Pepe's very good on his off ball movement. Very good.
Yeah.
A part of the game that very often people don't talk about. So is there any tension between players? Pulisic, Weston, MLS players and Euro players, dual nationals and domestic. Guys, unless they come out and say it or we see that in the field, there's no evidence of that, right? We've seen on the last camp some players not look very happy with Gregg, but it didn't look like they also didn't respect Gregg. They just looked frustrated, but there's no evidence of any of that. So we can't say yes or no. Probably no.
It's
I'll
probably
say no.
I would say no, guys. Well, I
No.
think there's been evidence of frustration with Gregg, and I think there's been evidence of maybe being a little overwhelmed by some of the tactical instructions they've received, but there's no evidence of them not liking each other. Okay. Yeah. Look, guys, anybody who super chat I missed, please put it in the chat and I will try to get to it. Ravi Shah says a quality striker just changes the game. I agree, man. Having somebody who can finish those chances. Because because Pepe scored that forced them out of their low block. If you have a chance and you're at center forward, especially if it's a high percentage chance, you got to finish it. That changed the game. Because once he scores that moves everybody out. You know what I mean? That moves Jamaica's back line forward.
And changes the tempo of the team, the momentum, the confidence. The whole team gets more comfortable, right?
Yes.
You get the thing with Pepe and having a center forward that can score goals is with the U.S. men's national team, especially in CONCACAF. I'm not talking about World Cup because we'll see who we face in World Cup, but in CONCACAF, we will create chances. So if you have a center forward that's scoring, he's going to score. That's going to happen. That's what happened to Pepe on two games he played.
Yeah. 2 goals, 2 chances in this one. 1 goal involved in 3 other ones, against Honduras. And let's not forget the little ball for Pau Areola. That was good hold-up play in the opening minutes, right? That was quality stuff from Pepe. Geoffrey Holmes says, never felt uncomfortable with Musa on the ball. Underrated quality. made great decisions, and his ability to drive into the final line is great. That's what I really love about Musa. He wants to drive at you with the ball at his feet, which is why Valencia uses him on the wing. But you can do that in midfield just as well. You just have to be given the freedom to do it. And when he does, he's so dangerous. Can he find moments where maybe you want him to dish a little sooner? Of course. He's 18 or 19. He's just turning 19 this month. He'll learn the balance over time with experience as he plays. But you don't want to shackle a player like Musa. You want to give him freedom, right? You want to give him the ability to express himself, to show personality, right? Same with Weston. Those are the kind of players you have to let them play. You have to let them go. Gio Reyna's another one. Pulisic. We have so many guys like that. Okay. Change last man rule. Let coach choose red or PK. What are your thoughts, Dak?
No, the foul is where it is, and it should be a red if it's out of the box and a PK if it's in the box. I wouldn't change. I personally wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't change it. If it's in the box, but the last man rule, I agree with. If you're the last man, I agree that it should be a red, even if it's just outside the box.
Yeah,
But
Areola's play, to be fair, should have been a red card for their defender. I believe was it Mariappa? It was Mariappa.
I think Mariappa,
I
yeah.
think it was.
Should have been a red card. The other one, I'm less sure. I think it should have been a yellow, but that should have been a red card, and it should have been a yellow on the player who fouled Pepe after he gave the through ball. He just crashed into him. So what's the score in Canada, Mexico?
1-0 Mexico.
All right. Hey, it's not over. After the stream, I'm going to go watch the second half maybe.
Yeah, I'm actually watching Panama and El Salvador a little bit. Watching.
I recorded the Panama game so I can scout them before, our big game against them on Sunday. Mm-hmm. What do you want to see, Tak, on Sunday as far as a lineup goes? What do you want to see, and what do you think we'll see?
So what I want to see, I'm okay with seeing, and I'm not going to even think much about it, the same exact team we saw today. Take out Areola, start Tim Waya, and go with Chris Richards instead of Walker Zimmerman. Everything else, I'm okay with staying the way it is.
Yeah.
And then in regards to subs throughout the game, I do want to see De La Torre get a couple more minutes so we can see more of what he can do. And I hope Hoppy gets an opportunity to play a couple minutes, at least Panama. Bucio, not yet. Bucio, I'm okay with him going Costa Rica game.
Yeah. Yeah. Canada scored, apparently. 1-1.
Oh,
in
Canada.
Azteca. Oh, Canada.
And did you see who scored for Mexico?
Was it Raul?
Jorge Sanchez. So they benched Chaca Rodriguez finally.
Wow. So Jorge Sanchez at right back. And he just scored just as Julian Araujo switches nationality to Mexico. Actually, it's not going to be good for
Chaca is not even in the roster, actually. Is he injured?
Oh, they didn't bring him?
Or maybe they gave up. I don't see
They brought like 28 guys. He's got to be there.
I don't see him on the bench. I'm looking here at the list. I think Chaca's not there.
He might not be on the bench, but he's in the roster.
What do I think Gregg will do? I think Gregg won't start Richards. I think he'll start McKenzie. He'll start two there in the back, McKenzie and Miles Robinson. I think Yedlin will start on the right back. That's why Yedlin was probably rested today. Probably going to be the starter. On the left back, I think Serginho might start on left back. He might rest Robinson with that knee issue. He's not going to put him to play 2 games.
Yeah, if he's got tape on his knee already, that might be smart.
Tyler will play. He'll start. That's why he even rested Tyler. Yeah. Weston will start. Weston will start as well. And then the midfield, I don't think he'll start Musa again. He might actually rest Musa and play him on Wednesday again. The midfield might.
I think Legit. I think he's going to start Legit, not
Legit.
Luca.
I think Legit will be back. And then the right wing, I don't think he's gonna start Areola. So I actually think the wings, Brendan Aronson he'll put there because Brendan Aronson was even rested. So Brendan will start. Pepe will start, and I think he's gonna go with Waya. He might start
I think
Waya.
so too. It'd be a crime if after that performance today he doesn't start Waya. Tamale Killer, a little overly optimistic with this one. I think days of Roldan and Legit are over. Trust me, it's not even close. They're both going to be – Gregg loves those guys. They're his favorite boys. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Joffrey Holm, how nervous are we with Turner with the ball at his feet in a tougher match? So long as we don't try to play out of the back, it's fine, right? It's only a problem if you try to play out of the back, then you're going to get killed. We know that about Turner. And to Gregg's credit, when Turner has played, he has not asked him to play out of the back under pressure, right? Obviously, if they're not high pressing and you're not under pressure, most you and I can pass out of the back. But come on, Like
Not me. My knee. Oh man, you
you
don't know how my
can't.
knee is. I can't kick the ball. My knee, if I kick it, so the meniscus is out of place. So when I kick it, I feel it loose. I can't kick the ball with my right.
Oh, dude.
No,
What
I
day are you
can't
having
kick.
your surgery? Do you know yet?
Um, I need to check. It's either November 18th or 19th.
Okay.
So before Thanksgiving, I'm
Okay.
fixing my knee finally again.
Benjamin De Rosia. Let's fucking go. I think Canada got a second goal, right? It's
I'll
2-1
check.
to
I'm not
Canada.
watching. I'm watching El
I'm
Salvador
just
and
watching the
Panama.
chat. I'm watching the chat.
No,
They're
it's
saying
still
another
1
goal.
1. It still says 1 1.
Oh, really?
Osorio scored the game tying goal. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Parlay might hit now. U.S. win raise, win Mexico, 1H ties. I am completely lost, Jason. Parlay might hit now. U.S. win raise with Mexico.
Cindy Parlay Cone, is that who he's talking about?
No idea. Might need to clarify that one for us, Jason. Ravi Shah says, can you describe Tyler's game style? Do you see him as just a regista type or something more than that? We all know how key Tyler is to us. So, Ravi, I don't actually think Tyler is a regista.
No.
Tyler is a lot more of a ball winner, right? He is very good at reading the game defensively, okay? And very good at snuffing out danger before it becomes a problem, right? That's why when we see Tyler playing in midfield, he does so well for us, right? And we don't concede as many chances when Tyler's there protecting the back line. A regista is more somebody who dictates the tempo of the game. They're usually very technical, very skillful on the ball. What Jackson Ewell and Will Trapp and Michael Bradley were supposed to be for Gregg, but actually are not. You're talking Andrea Pirlo or Busquets. These guys are more registas. Tyler Adams, who would you like in Tyler Adams too as a 6?
So playing style, and please, I'm not comparing him to this player. They're different, and this player is above him at least for now, and probably will be. His role is similar to Casemiro, right? He's not the most technical player. Very strong on defense, positions well, is able to neutralize sometimes key players, and is technical enough to connect the ball forward. So he's more like a Casemiro.
Anybody over 25, you can also liken him to Gennaro Gattuso, the Italian midfielder, who is very much like that. They called him Il General or whatever. I think they called him other things too. Go! I think this is talking
Mascherano.
Mascherano. Yeah, that's another very good example. Very good example. So yeah, guys, let me. What we're gonna do is the Canada-Mexico game sounds like a lot of fun. So let's hop into rating the game, rating the players. I'll read a few more super chats, then we'll do player ratings, and we'll let you guys go watch Mexico, Canada. Okay. Martel Tavares Osoria. Should we use a low block in away games? I don't think we should be defensive, right? We're in CONCACAF. We can't sit back in our own half and play defensively in a low block. That's not what we have the players for. That's not who we're trying to be, guys. If we're trying to change the way the world views American soccer, we have to be an attacking team. And let's be honest, it's CONCACAF. None of these teams are going to be dominating possession against us, or at least they shouldn't be. So no, my short answer is no. I'd rather high press than sit in a low block.
Guys, low block, France, Brazil, Belgium, then we can try to low block, hold our own, try to counter. Besides that, we should not even Mexico. We should low block. We shouldn't low block.
No, not in CONCACAF, guys. Pepe clear of Pimenez and Pozano. Eric Fuentes. I think a lot of people are watching the Mexico game now. All right.
Yeah.
Last two. I like our center back depth. Third match in a row that Zim did well. Whoever we put there, I'm comfortable with. Here's the thing, Mike. None of these CONCACAF players outside of Canada and Mexico, none of their attacks are really going to threaten our back line, right? Miles Robinson, Zimmerman, they're going to do the job because they're good enough, right? Zimmerman is fine. McKenzie's fine. Robinson's fine. Richards is fine. Like, this is CONCACAF. They're not going to threaten our back line, especially when you have Tyler protecting them. Yeah, of course, there are going to be moments they have to defend, but they're not really going to be tested. And that's kind of the issue for me.
I want to add to also one thing, Pete, that many people ignore sometimes. We talk about stats, and we also talk about how stats are not everything in soccer. But when it comes to what Pete just said, there's one important stat as well. We held over 60% of ball possession. When you hold over 60% ball possession, one, there's less threats because you're holding the ball. You're not getting attacked. Two, your defenders are always rested when your opponent is attacking. Your opponent is attacking tired because he's running after the ball. So holding possession does play a role in that as well. And that's one of the reasons, just to add to what you said.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's called resting with the ball, and it's a huge part of the game. Make a list of soccer leagues. Vego, I have no idea what you mean. There are so many. Are you talking about ranking soccer leagues? I feel like we've done this, and it's really hard to do. Really hard to do. It's a long. Give me a little more specifics, Vego, so we know what you're talking about. Matt Majierski, we will never compete for World Cup with career MLS players on the field. Agreed. Who cares if we make it and get knocked out in the group stage? And that's part of the thing too, right? We need to get these players who are going to be in Qatar playing together. Is Areola going to be playing in Qatar? No, at least he shouldn't
Hopefully
be.
not.
Hopefully not, right? So we need to get Waya and Aronson and Pulisic and Reina and Hoppy and Pepe developing chemistry and camaraderie on the field. Now, it's like, yeah, we know Areola works hard. He's not going to Qatar. He'd better not be going to Qatar. Why is he playing? Same with Leggett, same with Roldan, same with maybe Acosta will probably go, but Ream, for example. It's just, yeah, I'm with you. We can win in CONCACAF, World Cup, whole different story. Whole different story. And even in CONCACAF, Paul Areola was not that effective today. Look at Zardes today. This is one of the worst teams in CONCACAF, and you're at home, and you get 4 chances on a platter, and you score none of them. Sorry, not good enough. Also from Mike Irish, I like our center back depth. 3rd match in a row that, oh no, I call that one. Sorry. Will Gregg forgive Miazga for kicking his dog? Where did this one come from? I'm totally lost on this one. I've never heard this. I don't know. I've never heard this. Yeah, I think it's just a joke. We'll see if Miazga gets called into the next camp. World Cup, Matt. Yeah, I figured that. I know you said WE. Ryan, my earlier super chat was just about how cool it is to have LDT in our squad that can make that killer pass to break a low block. Yes, 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 and yes. Gio Reyna and Luca De La Torre, 2 guys in the pool who can really do that. I'm with you, Ryan, 100%. Zach Baker, team speed might be to our biggest advantage. Dest, Waya, Robinson, Pulisic, McKinney, Adams, and Musa have elite speed for their position. I don't know that McKinney is that fast, to be honest. And even Robinson, I think he's quick, but I wouldn't call his speed elite. Even Waya. Waya's fast, but I don't know if he's an elite speed. There's fast, and then there's like a whole nother level of elite. Pulisic, yes, very, very fast. Adams, I don't know. Adams, I wouldn't describe as particularly fast. Dest.
Robinson is pacey.
Robinson is very. Wait, which Robinson? You're talking about Anthony or Miles?
Anthony Robinson. He's pacey.
Yeah, he's pacey for sure. I don't know if I would call his speed elite, though. But I take your point, Zach. I get what you're trying to say. Definitely having speed helps on both sides of the ball. But there's not just the speed of thought. There's speed of execution. There's speed of decision-making. There's speed of a lot of things, right? So there's different types of speed to think about. Yeah, Jerson Lima says Davies. And, Alfonso Davies. That's elite speed in my book. So you're talking about elite speed. Let's go on to player ratings, okay? And then we'll let you guys go watch Mexico, Canada, and celebrate our win. We'll start with Matt Turner. Didn't have a lot to do, but did what was asked of him comfortably. I'm going to give him a solid 7.
Yeah, just going to give him a 7 too. He had one very good save, and then everything else was just secure. Nothing to complain.
Yeah, secure. You don't feel uncomfortable when the ball gets in the penalty box, right? Yeah. He's alert. His handling is good. His angles are good. Shot stopping is good. All of that. Serginho Dest. I'm going to give Dest an 8 today because he wasn't perfect. There were times where I thought he over dribbled maybe tried a little too many tricks. But overall, you got the assist on the opening goal, was a real threat, was getting forward, and was solid defensively, which we haven't always seen from him. So I'm going to give him an 8.
I'm going to give him a 7.5, pretty much for the same reasons as yours, just a different standard. A little bit above Matt Turner, because Matt Turner did his job, and I think Dest did his job too. A good assist, and we needed to see a good performance for Dest in the U.S. men's national team, and hopefully that picks up his confidence, and we see a little bit more in the next few games.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Let's go into Walker Zimmerman. I'm going to give him a 7, right? Pretty much did what was asked of him. Wasn't really tested. I thought there were maybe a few moments where I would have liked him to step into midfield with the ball more and behave as a playmaker. But that's a little maybe nitpicking, to be honest. I'll give him a solid 7. Wasn't really threatened, but did what was asked of him. Professional.
I'm gonna give him and Miles Robinson all at once the same I gave Matt Turner, a 7 to all three of them. I thought
Yeah.
they just did their job. Everything you want from them, they did it perfectly. Nothing extra, but
Yeah.
7 way. And just to remind everyone, Pete, as well, 7 is a good rating. Okay, guys, 5 is means an average performance. So
Yeah.
7 means they had a above average performance. Just to make that
Exactly.
clear.
Yes, good call. I'm with you. I'm going to give Miles Robinson a 7 as well. Let's go to Anthony Robinson. I'm going to drop mine a little bit for Anthony. I'm going to give him a 6. Although he was very involved in the attack and was constantly looking to bomb up the field, I also feel like some of his crosses were not as good as they should have been in the final third. I don't think he was terrible. At 6 is still above average. And he did
Mhm.
also get beat once in the first half by Shamar Nicholson, remember? So I'm going to drop him down to a 6.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give him a 5. I thought he was average. Like you said, he was very involved today, right? Very active. But I thought the crosses could have been a little better. There was the Shamar Nicholson, but average. There's nothing really too bad about him. I didn't think it was good either. I'm just gonna give him
Yeah.
average rating.
Yeah. I'm going to give Tyler Adams a 7 as well. I thought actually Tyler Adams had a few moments where, he lost the ball, not within possession, but in winning duels rather. In some of the duels with the bigger Jamaican players, he lost out. Otherwise, he was pretty solid. Reliable is how I would describe Adams today. I'm going to give him a 7 or 7.5.
Yeah, for the same reasons as Matt Turner, Miles, and Walker, I think Adams also did what you want from him. So 7,
Yeah.
same rating as them.
All right. Weston McKinney.
I'm gonna
I'm
give him a
struggling with you. You
7.5.
start with Weston.
7.5 too. Similar to Dest. I know he didn't get a stat or an assist,
Yeah.
but I thought Weston was good. He was very active in the first half, switching play, trying to get involved, and I thought he was good in the second half too. So I'm giving Weston a 7.5, just like Dest.
Yeah, I thought the moment in the first half that I really liked was when he just did him. He ran, beat his guy on the dribble on the wing, played a little 1-2 and got in the box and had his cross blocked. But I'm like, that's what you want Weston doing, just taking over a game like that. And we did see that from him in the second half too. I'll join you on 7.5. Yunus Musa. I'm going to give Yunus Musa a 9 today.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he doesn't have the courage to dribble at that Jamaican defense and release Dest, nothing happens. And then he continued to do that. He was a huge threat the entire second half. So I'm going to give him a 9.
He, out of everyone we just mentioned, he has to be my higher rating. I'm giving Eunice an 8, but exactly the same reasons too. My highest rating, right? It's just that we have sometimes different in our mind, like what our number means, but we probably mean the same in
Yeah,
regards to
that's
Eunice.
fine. It's better when we don't
Uh,
all, give him the same rating.
he played this. He was key for our win. That's the way to put it, right? He did.
Yeah.
So we talked about the players that did what we did their job, right? Eunice did his job and a little bit more. So I'm
Yes.
giving him an 8.
Okay. Brendan Aronson. I'm going to drop Brendan Aronson to a 7 because although he did get the assist, there were times where I thought he got bodied off the ball a little too much and maybe was not as decisive as he could have been. It was still a good performance from him, but, above average, well done, but not, out of this world, not game changing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna give him the same as Dest and Weston, 7.5. So the reason for it is I think his performance is somewhat measured similar to Dest in my point of view, right? Not a perfect game, very active,
Yeah.
confident for sure, good attitude, got the assist just like Dest. So I'm gonna give him the same rating as both of them, Dest, so 7.5.
Yeah. Areola. You start on Areola.
He didn't do much. I'm gonna give Areola a 4, right? Because he had some good moments. I think it was below average overall, but he technically he drew a red card, so the ref took that accomplishment away from him, right?
Yeah.
He had the nice through ball. But besides that, he slowed down the game at times. A lot of times passed the ball back, didn't really do much, ran around in circles. I'm
Yeah.
giving him a 4, below average.
I'm going to give him a 5 because of the effort. I thought he worked really hard, and that's, all we can say for all Paul Areola. To be honest, his production is not great. And at some point, guys, we have to get past this idea that being a hard worker is enough for the national team. You have to have actual quality to play for your national team, right? And I just didn't see it from Paul Areola, but that didn't really surprise me. I mean, we know what we're going to get from him, right? So I'm going to give Areola a 5. Ricardo Pepe. How do we do? I'm
Want me to
struggling. I'm going
go?
to give him 9.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Pepe a 9. Above, so he's my highest rated player here. I said this in the stream too. I thought in the first half, a couple moments, his touch. I didn't think it was bad in the first half, but his touch seemed a little heavy. But again, the guy's the center forward. He comes in. He's 18. Adding
Yeah,
that to the context, scored again 2 goals for us. Once he left, we
on two
continued to
chances.
create up
Two
on two
chances,
chances.
2 goals.
Two chances. He also started the play where Areola technically drew the red card, and we didn't get the red card, obviously, but it should have been. He started that play. He got 2 chances, 2 goals. Once he left, we created a bunch of chances, and Mr. Clumsy Josie Zardes couldn't score. So you know what? I'm just gonna, even though it's not a 10, I'm just gonna give him a 10 for this one. It wasn't a perfect performance, but what else? What else do I need from Pepe?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna give him
hard
a
to
10.
pinpoint a moment. I could only remember one moment where his hold-up play was poor and he ended up giving the ball away. But if you like dock a player a full point every time he gives a ball away, that seems disingenuous to me. I'll give him a 10. He also set up Paul Areola for that chance. He's 18. He scores 2 out of 2 chances. I'm with you. Let's give him a 10. Let's give him a 10. All right. And the first one to come on was his direct replacement, Josie Zardes. What?
Can I say one thing too?
Yeah.
Someone said you guys are predetermining ratings based off league and not performance, except for we gave Ricardo Pepe we gave every single player, which a lot of them are MLS players, a very good rating besides Areola, and it's not based on the league Areola plays. If you
Dude,
thought
don't give
Areola
those
was
guys even
good,
airtime. Anybody accusing us of that
yeah,
right now, they just don't know what they're talking about. But let's talk Josie Zardes, okay? Pepe's direct replacement. I don't think I've ever given this to anybody. I'm going to give him a 1. Because if you come on and you fluff 4 chances in 30 minutes and give the ball away 3 other times, did almost nothing good the entire 30 minutes, you're going to get a 1 from me.
and Jesse, sorry, because El Salvador just scored against Panama 1-0. The dual national from Netherlands scored from. So for me, you gave him a 1. I'm gonna be less harsh on Zardes. Just he was worse than all of our players in the field. So I'm gonna give
Dude, he
Zardes
missed
actually
4 chances in 30 minutes. How do you not get a 1 for
I'm
4
gonna give him
chances?
because
Man. For
stood
what? What did he
in
do
two
to them?
legs. He
What
stood
did he
in 2
do?
legs, Pete. He stood in 2 legs.
That doesn't deserve it too. Yeah, no, and he was coming on where we were confident and free flowing. Imagine if that had been Hoppy, it could have been 5-0 or at least 4-0.
Yep.
So disappointing from Zardes. We should not see him against Panama, in my opinion. Pepe and Hoppy are the top 2 choices for me right now. The other guy who came on at the same time was Tim Waya. I'm going to give Tim Waya a 9. It's hard to not give him a 10 because every time he got the ball, he was dangerous. And I mean every time, right? So, but then a guy who plays 30 minutes, do you give him a 10? I don't think so, right? And let's face it, he also came on where, he had space, more space. He wasn't attacking a low block, right? So that helped a little bit. But still, he deserves kudos for being dangerous so consistently.
I'm gonna give him the same rating as Yunus Musa. I'm gonna give him an 8 as well. Like you said, he came into the game with more space and a more exposed Jamaican side that was coming after for the result. So that definitely helped him. Regardless, every time he had the ball, he was dangerous. I'm giving him an 8. He would have had an assist if we had a center forward playing. He would have had an assist. That would have been 1 or 2 assists. So maybe that would have bumped him up a little bit. But regardless, 8. Great performance from Waya.
All right. The next sub was Shaquille Moore for Serginho Dest, right? Have I got that right? Yes, I believe so. So Shaquille Moore, I'm going to give him a 7. Tried to get forward, had a few interesting runs, lots of effort, work rate, but wasn't outstanding, right? I mean, it's Shaquille Moore. We kind of know from the Gold Cup what he's going to do. Good player, not good, decent player, going to work hard. Didn't really have any moments of brilliance. I might even give him a 6, to be honest, just because I didn't think he was good. He didn't do anything that like I could point to and say was terrible, but he wasn't real effective bombing up the field either, right? He wasn't really getting into the attack and being a good option. So I'll give him a 6. What do you give him?
A 5. I thought he was average. He didn't do anything wrong. It was also limited minutes, right? And it was a
Yeah.
Jamaican side that didn't really impose much of a threat. They had even taken out Bobby Reed at that point. It seemed like they were kind of like just resting, getting ready for the next game. So I'm giving him a 5.
Yeah. Luca De La Torre only got 12 minutes, and it's hard to rate a player in 12 minutes. But the fact that he created 2 goal scoring in chances in 12 minutes, I'm going to give Luca an 8.
So I'm gonna be less generous, Tove. Maybe I'm gonna give Luca a 7 because he generated a few opportunities, but it is also limited minutes, so I don't want to give it too
Yeah.
high. But he did his job in the midfield and a little more than that. He was more, even though he had the same amount of minutes as Shaq Moore, he did more, right? He did something. No
Yeah.
pun
A
intended
lot
there.
more effective
That
on
was
the
an accident.
field, and creative. So I'm giving him an 8. I really liked that from him. Who was the 5th sub again?
It was Acosta for Tyler with like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
not even
I
going to rate
don't
Acosta for 5 minutes.
yeah, I don't remember Acosta. Like he definitely didn't do anything wrong because I don't remember it, but I don't remember him doing much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to rate a player for 5 minutes. That's like, it's so hard to. Last but not least, Gregg Berhalter got the win today. Not a great first half. Pretty good second half. I thought some of his subs were good. Didn't love the Zardes sub. I'm going to give Burhalter a solid 7, right? You got the win, which was absolutely expected, right? Getting the win at home against Jamaica. The second half performance saved a not great first half performance. Maybe 7 is generous, but I think it's fair.
Yeah, we saw a lot of verticality.
I hope they ask him in the press conference after the game.
So so
I
they
really
won't.
do.
The USSF probably said, "Hey, can you guys like not mention verticality? It kind of became a meme. So can you stop?"
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Michael
but
Cameron's like, no verticality questions in the press con.
yeah, we're gonna be censoring the word verticality here right now,
Yeah, right.
and along with that, we're gonna censor also. I'm gonna think of another word, but anyhow, I think it's fair to give Greg a good rating today. Like we said, overall, the starting 11, besides Paul Riola and Zimmerman, there was no other head scratches. It was fine.
Bringing on Zardes
This
was a head scratcher, though.
no, after, right? I mean, on
Oh,
subs
later.
after
Yeah, yeah.
Zardes was a head scratch. But then again, he also brought in Zardes when we had the 2-0 lead. The game was under control. Why did he do it? Who knows? But it could be like a Columbus friend or something. I'm actually going to give him a 7.5. It has to be a good rating. He got the win 2-0. He started the midfield we wanted. He put Dest on the right back. Most players played in their position. Most players, if not all of them. Yeah, all of them, pretty much.
Yeah.
Started Pepe again. Started Weston again after last camp. Let him play. So 7.5. Good for Greg today.
Let's see how it goes against Panama. A couple last questions here. Vigao, yes, sir. Make a list of soccer leagues in the world. Vigao, there are thousands of soccer leagues in the world. I don't know what you mean. You got to be more specific, man. I'm not going to make a list of soccer but I'll answer your other
Do you want
question.
me to? Yeah, I was gonna say the make a soccer list.
A list of soccer
Like
leagues doesn't make any sense, Vigao. But how will Pro Well work, especially if we have 32 teams? I'll start off by saying Vigao Pro Well is not going to happen in the US. I want it to, but there's no way it's going to happen. How would it work? You put 16 of them into MLS 2 or something along those lines, or you
I have a
get.
different suggestion though. I
Okay,
have
let's
a
hear yours.
the way I always envisioned it was this. We would have promotion regulations among conferences. So you have the two conferences, and there's Division One for East and West, and then Division Two, Division Three, and it's among conferences. And then MLS playoffs remain the way they are. We have the playoffs, so it would essentially be like Pete said, 16-16, but it would be East and West. Relegate maybe the bottom two of each one, and then
Mm,
have the two promotions, and that's probably how it would work. That's the way I would envision it.
yeah, I can see that. Another way is to get USL involved, right? Have a one league, have one time you relegate 16, the bottom 16 or the bottom 8 in both leagues, and then you have them combined with USL and USL 1, and you create 3 divisions, and then you start by entering the 3rd division and work your way up. But it's not going to happen, Vigao. Should we rid the salary cap for USA minutes? We should get rid of. We should increase the salary cap and take off the restrictions in MLS, in my opinion, if we really wanted to grow and to improve. But that has nothing to do with whether or not the players are American. Last one from Ryan, and then we're going to sign off for the night. Take a drink every time you hear the V word. This is going to be the signal for USMNT verticality. Guys, thanks for coming to hang with us. We got a good 3 points. Go finish watching. Did Canada score again?
I think it's still 1-1. It's still 1-1.
Okay. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see you guys Sunday, of course, on Patreon. I will break down this entire game tactically for anybody who's interested. Don't forget, Tactical is memberships as well. Smash the like button before you go, guys, so other people can find this video later. Have a fantastic night, and we will see you all on Sunday.